Hello, welcome to another episode of Word Up. This is my good friend Darren Matthews. You might have met him before. Well, of course you have. He hasn't sang The Wall, though.
I was going to bring that up. You beat me to this, so I don't get to complain.
Go on ahead.
So I only noticed this when I sat down earlier on. I was like, was I supposed to sign The Wall? Mm-hmm. And then, so I was. Last time I was here, a few weeks ago, I was supposed to sign The Wall. I didn't.
And do you know what? He obviously has to come back on again because you've got to sign The Wall.
I will. Remind me when we finish this one to sign The Wall, and then I'll come back, and then next time I'll be all, that time I signed that wall.
Fuck yeah, but you know what? I think it's because of this time of the year you're not really allowed to talk about graffiti on the wall.
Is that the problem? Yeah. You used to take your fun away from me. There'll be protests.
Singing all them fucking songs in the Falls Park. In fact, I meant to do this bit. I think I did it in Crumlin. It went down a storm. Talking about how I don't understand why, like, unionists are so raging about people singing wolf tone songs. I mean, you know, they should create their own shitty, like, Irish folk band and go to the Green every year and sing songs about us until, you know, it gets on our nerves and we stop doing it. And they should call themselves the Harlem Wolf Tones.
I like that. Did you know there's actually, I only noticed this, I live in a kind of unionist area, and the first 12th that I lived there, the guys were all out in the Green drinking, and they had like wee gazebos, middle of COVID, you know, socially distanced and all that. But I didn't realise, they have like dance versions. Now they're Irish trad tunes, but they've changed the lyrics to be like pro-unionist. Have you ever heard the song "The Fighting Men Across McGlen"?
No.
This is basically like a trad song or like a rebel song. There's a dance version of that unionists listen to called "Orange Men and Cross McGlen."
Get away!
Yeah, I only heard it. I was in my house and listening out there, and I was laughing. It was very creative. Fair play to them.
That's fucking brilliant.
I was like, I can't tell if it's a party song or if they're totally serious.
No, I think it's probably totally serious. But I like fucking fill your boots.
Yep.
Do you? Like, have a laugh with it. If you want to sing fucking graffiti on the wall, it says it's tragic. Go on ahead. Like, we have to suffer it every fucking year. I live just up the road from the Falls Park, and the Wolf Tones have a going away gig every single year. It's like that last Christmas with your granny. You're like, I have to go to my granny's because it might be the last Christmas, but she lives for like another 20 years. Right. And that's the way everybody is with the Wolf Tones.
I was kind of thinking, because the Wolf Tones are coming back to play in, I think, December. They're doing the Waterfront. Now, I thought that they got to the point now where they've been here so much in that park. There's no way that's still the Wolf Tones. I thought it was going to be like when you go to Disney, you know, it's a small world. I think they're animatronic. I don't think they're people.
Yeah, it's like Five Nights at Freddy's.
And see when they do actually all day, I think it's going to be like that ABBA Voyage show they have where it's all holograms. Will still be in the Falls Park.
Yes, do you know I heard? Right, I heard this through the grapevine that there were actually the Sons were getting ready to step in.
There is a band called the Young Wolf Tones, or are they just like a tribute act that do the stuff?
For fuck's sake, I do not know. But I remember actually years ago I think it was during Fela, there was this band from the Basque country, right? And they did all this mad sort of Spanishy sounding music, right?
Careful, because people from the Basque country are Spanish.
Don't want to be Spanish. In fact, I have a good story about that.
Is that ETA? Is that those guys?
Is it?
That's the Basque separatists.
I actually, yeah.
The Spanish Ra.
The Spanish Ra. They were over here and they did wolf tone songs in their language. Like it was like fucking just hilarious. Like graffiti in la wall. Do you know what I mean? Like it was fucking. But we were all like, yo, fucking boom. But I get that. Do you know what? I've really started to change how I think about it.
Okay.
Because part of me is like, for fuck's sake, PC gone mad. It's just songs, right? And then I saw this thing and people were talking and they were like, but how would you feel if, you know, your family were murdered or whatever and we were singing up the UVF? And I thought, well, that's the 12th, right? But, but then, you know, then I go, times have changed. We need to move on, right? But you see, whenever, like, you say up the Ra for absolutely no political reason whatsoever. And see, whenever, like, people say up the Ra, I don't even think about, like, the Ra. I think, like, it is this, the Ra from...
The like, Egyptian sun god? Ra?
Up Ra. Yeah, that's it. Anaxunamun.
Because I think there's, is it, like, Kieran Bartlett and Ian Thompson have, like, bits where you're just... It's just like a phrase now.
Yeah.
The guys are doing that as comedy. We're just like, this doesn't really mean fuck all.
Yeah, whenever I say, like, that's why I've always been more of an up the hoods girl. Do you
Upper
know what I
hoods.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
upper hoods.
The people who the Ra would shoot.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Those, but my friends.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Up the kneecapped and soon to be kneecapped.
Yeah, fuck.
And also kneecap, who are great crack.
Kneecap or kneecapped top rate DLA. Do you know there used to be a thing where if the kneecapped you whenever you were in Lenadoon, right? And you were caught like stealing cars, burning out cars, the kneecapped you. See if you applied for a claim after you get kneecapped, the kneecapped you again.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Because
like
they were
lifetime DLA.
You're not allowed to benefit financially from this punishment being. No shit, like that was legitimately the way it went, you know.
I used to have an old joke about that where I was saying, like when I was growing up, if you were caught, basically where I'm from, if they caught you drug dealing, they would kneecap you. And then somebody said to me, so anytime you would see somebody, you know, with that limp, and you're like, I know fucking what's happened to that guy.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, you fucking scumbag, you know what I mean? But I found out about that, and then we got a new...
Where I'm from, we were like, here, come here.
No,
sort us out.
But we had it where...
Stop.
Yeah, we had it there where we knew that, you know, then we got like a new... We got like a new priest in the parish,
right.
And he walked with a limp, and we were all like, "Fuck me, maybe he was misbehaving before he joined the priesthood." Turned out
he's handing out communion as fucking LSD. Everybody's saying Jesus.
no. Turned out he just had childhood polio. So.
Oh right, okay. I thought you were going to say something else like childhood.
No.
Yeah, no, we don't go there.
No, so he wasn't.
Hashtag not all priests.
Exactly. So he wasn't kneecapped. He was just unfortunate.
He was just. I was going to say something.
I'm trying to keep us clean here.
Yeah, limp biscuit.
Exactly.
That's what you called it when he handed out communion. Going for limp biscuit. I'm terrible, Muriel.
Body of Christ, up the hoods.
Up the hoods. Body of Christ. Oh man, look at him. But here, do you want to hear the word of the week this week? Because I've decided we should try and incorporate the word of the week into as many times. In fact, I wonder can we keep score as to who uses it in a sentence most during this
Jesus.
episode?
Well, I don't know what it is. This could be an advantage to yourself. All right, show me.
It's not. I just read it 2 seconds ago. Right, so go.
Persiflage?
Persiflage.
Persiflage.
Persiflage. Well,
Okay.
I'm saying it the way
I read it like it was French.
Persiflage.
Persiflage.
Yeah, that's what you call it whenever you've got a wee tight minge. It's a flange under like a persiflage. Then again, not everybody's as tight with their money.
So pronounce it again.
Persiflage.
Persiflage. Okay.
So persiflage.
The E's lazy on the end of it.
Yeah.
It's persiflage.
Like persiflage.
Okay.
So basically, I thought, in fact, this seems to be a theme because I do tend to like give words that are about what we do. So persiflage is light and slightly contemptuous mockery or banter, right? So it's basically banter, right? Or like frivolous talk. Basically this podcast.
Does this word basically explain the phrase, did you, aye?
Did you? Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Where you're basically saying, fuck off, no you didn't, but
Yeah.
you're not being mean about it.
Yeah.
So, did you?
Yes.
Is that what that is?
Contemptuous. That's
Okay.
exactly it. Yeah. And for anybody that doesn't, I had these lovely wee comments, especially from there's a person in America that watches, and they were saying that they love like hearing about the sort of colloquialisms that we have, and so whenever you say
Howdy, partner, he's probably from Massachusetts or something.
howdy,
Never mind.
or she,
She, them.
I get the feeling
Careful.
it's a she. Careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to explain? Did you? Aye.
Did you, aye? Well, I mean, did you, aye is very much more a Belfast thing. I'm not from Belfast, thank God. And
Yeah, cheeky man.
you have this thing where it's you're letting somebody know you're listening to the story, but you don't believe a word of it.
Yeah.
So when somebody's saying, as it's Saturday, I pulled these 2 birds, you just be going, did you? Aye.
Yeah.
It's how it's delivered also.
Yeah, it is. It's how it's delivered.
Because if you went, did you? Aye? As in, that's like, I'm totally on board with the story. But
Yeah,
if it's
yeah.
did you? Aye? As in, like, fucking no, you didn't.
Did you fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically, isn't it? Like, did you? Aye?
It's letting somebody tell their bullshit story, but
Yeah, but
letting them know it's bullshit.
so you're being slightly contemptuous, but you're going along with it. you
Gotcha.
know? Yeah, so that's an example of persiflage. That is
Persiflage.
absolutely 1 point to Darren. Ding. But like, yeah, that mockery, that banter, it's just like who we are, isn't
Yes.
it? Like as a people, you can't survive over here if like we're kind of. I have heard that Germany is like a great place to live if you're autistic.
Yes.
Because they're very matter of fact. They're very economical with their language. Like, I had a German friend up in uni, and she was like, why do you say this? Like, well, how are you? when you know the way we'll walk past you and go, well, what about you? And they'll go, why do you do that if you don't actually want the answer?
Yeah.
And you go, it's just, it's the way that it is.
It's also to let the person know that I don't want to talk to them. I'm just inquiring.
Everybody has.
Because if somebody stops to fucking talk to you, you're like, what are you doing?
Those are the worst.
Why are you actually chatting to me?
And you're like halfway through a stride when you have to like rewind.
I know, you're like, actually taking out your headphones, like, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
But like, the GI I have a cool story, bro, needs more dragons. Do you know what I mean? Or like, whenever you're talking to somebody, you're walking past, and whenever you have your headphones in, you're not actually intending to listen to anything that they say, and then they start talking, you go, oh, sorry,
Yeah.
What is it? Like, fuck off.
The clue should be as you walk past, when you go, well, what about, it's clearly you're listening to definitely loud.
Yeah, that's where these little things are a bit of a bollocks, because it used to be whenever you had like a wire,
You could see.
you could see the wire, and people would go, she's plugged into the matrix, like, don't talk to her. Do you know what I mean? But now you have to be like her behind the ear. That's why the her goes up, so you're like, please don't talk to me. There's nothing on these playing. I just don't want to speak to people.
I had an idea before, based on, since the invention of the AirPod or whatever version of it you have, how many mental illnesses do you think have gone undiagnosed because people are just like, oh, they're talking to somebody on their phone, and they're not. They're not.
Yes.
Just walking around the city centre chatting themselves.
This is the time and age to be alive.
Yeah.
If you're like paranoid, schizophrenic, or whatever. Well, it's actually not. It's probably bad, like you said. It doesn't go diagnosed. Sometimes whenever I'm in my car and I'm talking to myself, as you do, whenever you're driving along the car and you go, fuck, I forgot to stop and get that, like you do. Or else I go, people probably just think that sometimes I'll actually make it out. Like I'm talking to somebody on the phone. If I catch somebody looking at me, I'll go, yeah, like I could be on my hands free, yeah.
Then your phone rings and they're like, mental.
Yeah, nutcase.
You're in like a Fiat from 1998 and you're going, talking away.
You're like, I does not have Bluetooth.
This is it. It's sitting on bricks. It's not even moving. They're going, mental.
But the idea of the persiflage is very, as a comedian, talking to somebody, where it's like I'm mocking what they're saying, but I mean, it might be sort of stylistically when I do comedy, I'm not actually being mean to people, but I can get a bit of crack out of you, and we'll have a laugh about it. Yeah. But as you say, if you live in Germany, one of my main fears is going to gig in those countries and they don't have sarcasm.
Yeah.
And then you're fucked.
Yeah. They're on DAS Spectrum.
Yeah.
DAS.
That's actually I think that's the name of a Kraftwerk album.
That's actually brilliant. Oh my god,
Spectrum.
they're on DAS Spectrum. You're getting an auto ban if you crack them anymore. We're terrible.
Get out, all of it.
We are terrible. But yeah, persiflage, I just think that even the way that we speak to one another, like see last night in that green room in Strabane.
Yes.
I did the boiler room last night. Absolutely fucking brilliant gig. Amazing room. And I actually went, we should have a podcast in here. Just the actual banter. But then again, if anybody, what were we like whenever we were sitting in that BBC recording?
We're awful bitches.
We're awful.
Great crack.
Right, don't be telling anybody what we talk about, everyone. But I mean, like, because we couldn't swear, we were like, can we say crackhead? What about penis? Okay, vagina, that's an anatomical term. Can we say that? I'm sitting there going, we're getting paid good money to
behave yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, to behave ourselves. And I was still, did you see me going...
Yeah, but as comedians, you want to know where the line is, and you want to try and get as close to the line as you can.
You're like, I need to get splinters in my fingers from scraping the barrel here.
Yeah, it's like, how close can I get? So, but to do that, and then, as you said, when we're all sitting around, there's a thing, and it's not just comedians, it's a thing here where, do not come to Ireland if you want somebody to be happy for you. If you tell your friend something good's happening, they will be like, all right, but also... You're
a dick.
Fuck up.
Like, we're really bad. Over here, it is not okay to brag. Do you know, like, I have found that, like, with my American friends and even, like, my English friends, they do exist. I had this friend in uni, and she was a real braggart, but she didn't realise she was doing it. Like, she would sometimes go, like, I just do smell. You know, like that one from Friends? Do you smell me? Oh, I'm not even wearing any perfume. That's my natural scent. You know, we're really like, you could have spent 5 hours getting ready and somebody will go, you look gorgeous. And you go, fuck, I'm not, I'm fucking stinking. Look at the state of me, look at my big spot. Do you know what I mean? Like a mugly. This only cost like fucking £2 Primark. Look at the state of me. Whereas she would go, this was really expensive. You know, what do you think about this dress? And we would go, fucking get her. Fucking.
Yeah.
She's a bit forward. Do you know what I mean? My mom would have said she's not a bit forward about being backward. Or she's not about backward, about being forward.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And people don't realise how much of an insult that is over here to go, she's very confident. do you know what I mean? Like, whenever we do not mean that as a compliment.
Yeah. Any other country in the world, good for you, you're confident.
You're confident.
Over here, we will say it the exact same way, but we don't mean it. We're just like, oh, good for you, you're confident.
Yeah,
and then, walking away. Where's they going?
That is persiflage.
Yes,
do you know what I mean? That kind of contemptuous sort of banter where you go, she's very confident, isn't she? And I love it. Have you ever been in those situations where you, this is probably terrible, but where you're doing that and you think that the other person who's, you know, on the end of it kind of gets it and's taking part, and then you realise that they don't, and they really think you're complimenting them. They don't get your sarcasm.
Right, okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you'll be sitting there going, did you put that coat on yourself? Do you know what I mean? And they'll go, yeah, what do you think? And you're like, yeah, fucking, you know, like, who was it? There's a brilliant Twitter feed that was talking about, like, Irish people and, like, the fucking insults that you get. Like, somebody said their mate was wearing a bomber jacket. Walked into the pub wearing this bomber jacket that cost like 90 quid, and all his mates were slagging him, and the barman was like, no, leave him alone, I've one of them at home. And he goes, see he has, and he goes, it's wrapped around a fucking boiler in the boiler cupboard. You know what I mean? Like, we are just terrible for, like, you can never get too fond of yourself.
There's a great one on that. I think somebody said that they wore like a red beret once, and they literally got out of the house and somebody went, all right, Super Mario. That's right, you know, away. This is a fashion show, and you walk out and you get hit with it straight away. And for comedians, whenever you get it when you're walking off stage, I kind of appreciate it. And at the time, you're like, bastard. But when you walk off, if you haven't had a good gig and you're walking off and your mate's coming on, and as they walk past you, they go, nice one. You're just like, oh, you fucker. But
yeah, or they say something like,
Persiflage.
Persiflage. You go like, it's that audience. They're not.
And then everyone else smashes. Everyone else kicks ass. You're just like, well, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Persiflage can be like a lifetime sentence here, because like it only takes a wee like remark like that about something you're wearing, and then that's your nickname for life.
Oh my!
Yes. What a danger!
There was a fella in my school that came in the first year and the first day, and he had a Nike Air Max school bag, and he's still called Bubbles.
Okay, from the
bubbles in it.
Did it have bubbles in it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is absolutely brilliant.
Why is a school bag get shock absorbers?
No idea.
Because it had a bomb in it, and if you set it down too roughly.
When you're a first year in St Mary, it's like getting fucked down the banks.
Yeah. Nah, fair enough.
Oh,
so you have that. I'm trying to think of. Not a bad one. I actually think it's quite a good one. A friend of mine, a musician guy called Cahir O'Doherty from Derry, and his older brother's nickname is Swayze.
Okay.
And I was chatting to him, and I was like, I said to him, why is your brother's nickname Swayze? I was like, you know, Dirty Dancing. I was like, about Roadhouse, you tough bastard. Mm-hmm. He says, no. He goes, really randomly, we were all just in the house one time, we're getting ready to go out. And he says, a couple of mates were there. I says, our boy get out of the shower with his towel wrapped around him. And he says, and for about 3 seconds when he turned his head around, somebody went, all right, Swayze. And it's been his nickname for 30 years.
It's just stuck.
It's just stuck. You know, I think it was the 80s, and they had the mullet and all, and then the boys were just like, all right, Swayze. And that just, it's fucking following him all his life.
There's a fella we work with, and I think that, well, he's actually shared a nickname with me. We all called him Pancakes, right?
Pancakes?
Because he was really stoned one day, and he had went out the back and had a smoke, and he came in, and he went to say, does anybody want some pancakes? But he went, does anybody want some pancakes? You know, like he said it kind of like an American, and we all just turned and looked at him and went, pancakes? So from then on, just...
That's following him all his days now.
Right, pancakes. That's it.
The danger with nicknames, and I don't know if it maybe started off as an example of the old persiflage. I love saying this word now.
Persiflage.
Yeah. It doesn't. It sounds like
a posh boy.
He sounds like a fucking squire.
Yes.
Persiflage, my sword.
Yes. I love it.
My older brother's nickname is Stan.
Right.
Now, because Stan. He was very good at football when he was younger. Stanley Matthews. Stanley Matthews was a famous footballer.
I thought it was something
got shortened.
with like writing lots of letters to Eminem.
No, it wasn't a bad thing. It was actually a good thing that he got his nickname out of. But
Right.
so to this day, though, people call him Stan. Some people don't know his real name.
Really?
Yeah, really. So when I say, "Oh, my brother," and they go, "Who?" and then you go, and then I'm like, "That guy over there," and they go, "Oh, Stan." I'm just like, "That's not his name."
Like they don't actually realise that his name isn't. Imagine
When he lived in Canada, my mother phoned his house to be like, "Is Gareth there?" And the guy who lived with him was like, "There's no Gareth here, lady." and then she was like, "Gareth Matthews," and she was like, "Matthew, you mean Stan? Hey, Stan, your mom's on the phone." And then she was like, "Does that boy not know your name?" She's like, "Everybody calls me Stan.
that's
That's
my
it.
name.
No one calls me by my name."
And does he answer to it like he fully?
Yeah. I think everybody calls him it except for us in the family. That's it.
Dear Stan, I called you, but you still ain't answering.
Yeah, but that came from that probably came from this idea, but when he was younger.
Persiflage.
Yes.
Do you
Somebody
know
be
what I
like, "Oh, fucking Stanley Matthews here playing football."
Imagine getting a nickname because of being good at something. Like, do you know LL Cool J? Do you know what his nickname? Do you know what that stands
Ladies
for?
love Cool James.
Yeah, like he was given that in school. Ladies love Cool James.
That's a good one.
Oh my god! Like whenever mine would have been like BHSP, like Bronagh has smelly piss. You know what I mean? Like how the fuck did he get LL Cool J? He totally did you I? That was that.
Yeah.
Like, he had told that story and you'd have went, did you I?
Yeah, people. That's one of those ones where he says that he got it at his old school and then moved schools. He's "Oh, people call me," and just like,
Yeah.
do they?
Like those kids who try to remake themselves whenever they're going to another school. There was a girl who came to uni on a gap year and told us all her name was something and we found out it wasn't.
Yeah.
She just decided whenever she came over she was going to be a different person.
She changed her name.
Yeah, she was.
I get when people go to university and they're just like, "I grow my hair, change my style," kind of thing.
she
I've got
changed
in my
her
wee
name.
fucking village.
Her name was like Dorothy or something. She was telling all of us her name was Red.
Red.
We all thought she was called Red. And turned out she
Is this like Dorothy, Red Shoes, Kansas?
I do not know she was.
No?
I think she was a bit unhinged, like, to be fair. I think she took a shit outside once on the way home.
Have we all not?
No.
No?
No.
Is that a countryside?
My
You gotta go.
man.
I don't mean last week. I mean when I was younger. Jesus Christ.
Stop lying.
My man and dad tell
Did
me
you?
like, the best nicknames. No, like for people down the falls, like when they're telling me stories and they say somebody's name, and I always have to stop and go, "How long? Why are they called that?"
Yes.
No, and but the best one was somebody called Sixpence.
Right.
I was
Sixpence?
Like, I was like, "Why are they called Sixpence?" She says, "Because they weren't a full shilling." And I was like, "Fuck, I gold."
I love it.
Somebody's hit him with that in a bar and everybody's heard it
And
and they've left.
That's it.
And anytime that man's name is mentioned, fuck,
Do you know what
we call him
my
offer, and it's just sticking and sticking and sticking. Goes up the
absolute
road.
favourite
That's
was?
amazing.
Sometimes it does. That is clever. Like, that is
Yeah.
the kind of persiflage that you can go, well done,
Yeah.
take a bow.
My who.
Right? But then there's some that's just, you go, fuck me, no imagination whatsoever, but it's spot on. For example, I have a friend who once told me about this guy she knows, and his name's Birdshit.
Okay.
And I was like, what the fuck? His name's Birdshit. And we were in our 20s. Like, this was not,
Is this
like
in a school
some-
days thing?
No, this isn't a school days thing. We were like, I went, what? And she went, yeah, he's actually about 30. His name's Birdshit. And I went, no, but what's his real name? And she went, nobody knows. I went,
What?
surely he doesn't answer to Birdshit. And she went, oh yeah, like he'll introduce himself as Birdshit and all. And I went, what the fuck? Why? And she went, he has a birthmark on his head where his hair grows out and it just looks like a bird shat in his head, right? And I went, that's fucking terrible. Lo and behold, about 4 months later, I walked into a shop in the Falls Road and I was paying for something and I turned around and I just saw this guy standing there and he had dark hair and
On a
honest
patch.
to God, it was like a white patch and then there was wee dark speckles in it and everything and I just looked and went, that's Birdshit.
Yeah.
He is Birdshit. Oh my God, he exists. I was like, this is fucking brilliant. I love being Vermeer. But I also went, that's unfortunate. Like,
I like also, number one, he didn't shave his head, and number two, he just embraced it.
Yeah.
He was like, you'll fucking not be bullying me when you see this.
I thought it was a bit of a misnomer because whenever I saw it, I was like, that's goose shit. Do you know what I mean? You ever see like a big goose shit and you go, That was nutty. That was at the park today.
Yeah.
Fed
Having a great time.
granary bread.
But you have that idea where, I mean, for nicknames is one way to do it, obviously, with the slight mocking tone kind of thing. But just in general conversation where I would have it, maybe it's more so when you're traveling a lot, where you're talking to somebody and being sarcastic and they don't know. Oh, yeah. Or when you say something using Persiflage. And
I love it. You have to do that actually.
I know. When you use it and somebody doesn't get it, or as you would say when you were talking to your friends when you were in college, and they would be like, "Why would you say that?" And you're like, "Because I don't fucking mean it."
Yes. Or do you ever get whenever people
I am being aloof.
think they're yes, like joke. You fuck me at jokes so far above your head, it's getting served duty free. Like seriously.
I did a joke last night that has never failed and failed so hard last night.
Oh, go.
I delivered it to silence.
No way.
And I actually went, this is what I said to the mic. I went, no, alright.
Just go, okay.
I was like, the reason I do that joke is because it doesn't fail.
Moving on.
But that happens, you do a joke 100 times and you go, I'll use that one.
But this is the wee crowd that was drinking water, isn't it?
Yeah. And then I used it once and got a...
And then that just knocks you, doesn't
Alright,
it?
cool.
I
like, I want to go home.
And cry into my fucking
Yeah.
cornflakes. Do you ever like do the sarcasm thing with somebody and the take is so serious that you actually feel bad? You can't tell them that you were only joking, so you just go along with it. And, they'll be like, for example, this has happened quite often to me actually, where you go, like, fuck's sake, my dad was a magician, fuck's sake, guy done the disappearing act, and they go, was he a magician? That's amazing. And you go, but they're so like, vulnerable and innocent about it, and they go, oh, that's so cool, like that's lovely. But you don't want to make a dick out of them and go, nah, you're stupid. You go, yeah, he's still performing at birthday parties to this day. Do you know what I mean? You'll see them like months later and they'll go, this is Bronagh, her daddy was a magician.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? You
Jesus.
go, oh, for fuck's sake. Those people are just like, oh, no, we bit of the persiflage doesn't
Sometimes
work
it doesn't work. Or maybe we're too subtle.
Yeah, or we're too good at it.
Too much.
We're just like Simba's the Lion King, fucking lion bastards all round. We're just too good. Like Freud said that the Irish were impervious to psychoanalysis because it kind of is
Just a strict, just an immediate diagnosis of mental.
It's just like because I can just like, do you know what I mean? You go and see a psychologist, and you would just instantly think, say you were going for a test, and they wanted to find out whether or not you were mentally unstable. You would just be able to act your way out of that, like, wouldn't you?
I have this.
They try and say they can tell, but you can't.
Yeah, I have this great fear because people are, it's a big thing now, and it's real hip and cool to be in therapy.
Oh.
And everyone's all like, "Should try therapy. It really changed my life." And I was just like, for what I do, I'm afraid to go to therapy because what if they fix me and then I'm not funny? Because I don't have to deflect anything
I need my
or
trauma.
hide anything.
Yes.
What if they fix me and then I'm shite at comedy?
Yes. Oh my God. That's good. I love
Like I said, I'm trying to write stuff going, I shouldn't be thinking about that way.
Yeah. No, I shouldn't. You know what? At the end of the day, that wasn't my fault. Yeah. I shouldn't be so self-deprecating.
Yeah.
My therapist says.
Yeah, I know it's a big thing, but it's basically, although I've been chatting to somebody who is a counsellor, and they're saying quite a lot of it's just us going, how do you feel about that? Because it's just making you vocalise it and realise it yourself.
It has to be the easiest fucking job in the world in one way or another. I mean, okay, you can come at me. Persiflage, right? But I mean, imagine you didn't have a fucking clue what you were doing. You'd just sit there and go, how do you feel about that? Like, if you've ever been to a real psychologist, they don't actually give you any advice. They just let you talk for an hour and then say, cheerio, see you next week.
Having a cry, get it ready.
Do you know what I mean?
Still need a degree for fucking 7 years.
Aye. Yeah, just that wee fucking box of tissues just sitting on the table. Like, they go and study for 7 years to get a degree to go to B&M Parkins and bulk buy fucking Kleenex. You know what I mean? That's it. Just sit there, you know what I mean, taking wee notes, right? And you're like, fucking, Jesus, what's he writing down about me? And it's
they're
just
actually, yeah.
wee fucking smiley faces.
I was going to say they're playing Hangman against themselves on the fucking...
Yeah, Hangman going, I hope this person isn't suicidal.
Jeez. Well, that's not what I meant at all.
You've two options. You can either go to a therapist or you can buy a mic and a camera and start a podcast.
See, this is or take up stand-up comedy. It's just on stage. It's like what the therapist. That's one of my favourite wee memes. Therapist says, and what do we say when we feel this way? Me, showbiz. No.
What was one? It was one of those ones that was, and And what is one of those, there's little meme things that's, and what do you say when the therapist says, and how do you feel about that? And it was something like, my mental problems are chronic, but my ass is iconic.
I like it, yes.
Yeah, but it's all that. I watched the thing. I think it was Kevin Bridges, and he did a bit where they sent him basically for to be psychoanalyzed, and it was all just deflection and jokes.
Yeah.
And I was like, that'd be me. Yeah. And the other thing as well is when I go in, if I went in and sat down with a therapist and they went, "How you doing today?" I would go, "I did all."
Yeah, sweet. What about you?
yeah. And then they're like, "We're not here to talk with me," and I'm like, "Unfortunate."
I have legit.
And then you'd be a comedian going,
like, "Are you okay?"
And then you're a comedian going, "What do you do for a living?"
My therapist.
Is this your wife? No, that's the one who books your appointments for you. What are you doing in here? Yeah.
Do you know whenever I went, whenever I was pregnant with my first, I had really bad, well I still do, but depression, anxiety, went to see a psychologist who specialised in prenatal care.
Okay.
And he was talking away to me and all the rest of it. And I do genuinely think, because I have ADHD, I'm super perceptive whenever it comes to people's even wee micro mannerisms and whatever. And there was one week where I was late, and whenever he came down to get me, I could tell, just tiniest wee thing, I went, "There's something off with him today," and he's whatever. And I didn't mention it. And then a couple of weeks later, we were talking about how I do analyse everything, and I went, "But I'm right." And he went, "No, Bronagh, that's the way you think about things. That doesn't mean you're right. You're doing people's..." And I went, "Well, see, 3 weeks ago." He went, "Yeah." And I went, "The way I was late, and you must have thought you were getting home early. And you come down to the waiting room and you saw me sitting there." I went, and he went, and I went, "There was something on your mind that day." My God, strike me, right? I went, "There was something on, you had something going on with you that day. I think you were a bit stressed, and I think you could have done without me showing up that day." Right? And I could see him, right? And he's sitting there thinking, he's going, "Let me think about that day." And I saw the moment when it dawned on him that I was right. Right? And he went, "No, I don't think so." And I went, "You're a lying bastard. How are you feeling? Tell me what was going on with you that day." And just ended up sitting having a fucking therapy session. This isn't going to work for me.
Bronagh, you're saying you psychoanalyzed this psychologist?
Yeah, basically.
Did you?
Did you? No, either that, did you? Yes, Persiflage. I think that actually...
That was worth 2 points. That
was worth 2 points. That was worth 3. You win. But yeah, I didn't actually... It got to the point where I think he might have wanted to write me a prescription. By the end of that session, he was
this will shut you up.
"There was fuck all wrong with me that day, Bronagh. You're seriously deluded." Am I juice?
See the whole thing when you're just because of my ADHD and you've done the therapy thing and stuff as well. Do you think this has made you more where you would use the persiflage more yourself? Are you more defensive or?
I think, do you know what? I think because I own it and I know what it is. Do you know what I mean? It's easier to just...
Because obviously probably for years and years you didn't know what it was. You're just like, am I just crackers?
Am I just hilarious? What is going on here? I was always listening to the teacher going, "They're not laughing with you, they're laughing at you." And I'm like, "They're not actually, they're laughing at the fact that there's a wee shiny light that reflects off my watch and I'm making it go on your tit." Do you know what I mean? Do you remember you used to do that in class whenever the sun glinted off your watch and you would shine it in your teacher?
I'm making 4th period geography entertaining for these kids, alright?
Bronagh, you're 18, you're doing your fucking A-levels, will you stop it? Yeah. Do you know, definitely I do think humour gets you through everything. If you cannot laugh, you're beat. You're even whenever I was in the throes of agony and labour, I took the big deep breath of this fucking gas and air, and they were like, "You need to ring your sister, there's nobody here with you."
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. And I rang her up, and instead of saying, "You need to get to the hospital," I went, "Lorraine, do I sound like a big man?" And she went, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "My water's broke, but do you hear my voice?" Do you know what I mean?
So you're high and in pain at the same time?
High in pain, just generally. I started laughing and all. I was sucking on that gas and air like it was my boy's dick.
Well, this is how you ended up in labour again.
No, it isn't, because if I had done that, I wouldn't have got pregnant. But see, I don't do that. Whenever I was on the gas and air...
Yeah, you're married. You haven't done that in years.
I said, "Hi, exactly. Why does a bride smile on her wedding day? She knows she's giving her last blowjob." Do you know, whenever I was laying in labour, I was like, started laughing at something, right? And I was going, but I felt really far away. Like I was high as a kite. I was looking down on myself, right? And the midwife started speaking to me as though she knew I was really far away.
Right.
She was going, Bronagh, you need to come down from the window, you know, like that's the way. And then I started laughing even more, and she was going, I think that's enough gas in her for you. And she was trying to take the gas in her off me, and I was going, no, you're not.
You're having an intervention mid fucking.
Yeah, they were having this is the alcoholic in me, you see. They were just like, no more of that. You're not even in pain. You're not even having a contraction right now. And I was going, what do you fucking know?
Yeah.
I knock your bollocks in.
And was this like your first one?
This was my very first one.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
I did it. So obviously, you become more professional as they go on.
Yeah.
Rock in for the third one, you're just like, out of the road, lads, I've got this.
Definitely.
Bring
I
a
know.
briefcase.
Hold
Like
on.
Don Draper. In jail.
Just walking in like, don't worry about this. Give me my notes. I can do this myself.
Yeah.
I've
Sort
got
this one myself.
underhand.
Dead on.
Yeah, I'll have 2 milligrams of morphine, please. Give me the gas in her. What are you on about? You're not even pregnant. I will be.
I'm just getting ready. Just getting ready.
Did any of you ever have a persiflageous uncle?
Oh,
Like somebody who you walk in their house. And
Is
they
that not
just-
everybody's uncle ever?
Yeah, like they just rip you the shreds. My dad used to crack up because we used to walk into his house, like my uncle's house, and just the minute you came in, it was just like, I smelly or fucking
Yes.
like, or I saw Celtic played shit or like
Yeah, they just can't help themselves.
Whatever like parts of your identity was, he just fucking tore you
Went
down.
for
What
it.
you were wearing, like on just like.
Where's the rest of that fucking skirt? Do you know what I mean? And you
just
go,
made you
it's my
fucking
granny's funeral. Will you leave me
Yeah.
alone? Do you know
Why
what
are
I
you
mean?
wearing a miniskirt at the funeral? Anyway, I might ask you about that.
It could have been down to your knees. It still would have fucking said it. Do you know what I mean? Like, where's your rest of that skirt? What are you doing?
I think that's everyone's uncle ever.
Yeah.
I think just as well as people get older, they get worse.
Yeah.
And the other thing as well is maybe they don't realise that they are committing the act of persiflage.
Yeah, I think we've gotten to that stage now where it just is our language.
Yeah.
It's how we are. You know, do you ever get somebody that's being deadly serious and you just go, oh right, it's one of those conversations.
It's like somebody being sincere with you and you can't take it.
Yeah, like
You know,
whenever
as you
Curtis-
say when you're like, you look well tonight, you're just like, fuck off.
dead on.
Stop you.
Is that a new hairstyle you've got? Is it meant to look greasy and all that?
Yeah. Did you get your ears lowered? What? Did you get your ears lowered? What's that mean? Your haircut? You can see your ears? I'm not a boy. That doesn't apply to me. Do you know what I mean?
My ma calls it getting your head seen to.
Getting your...
Where I get my head seen to.
I'm away to get my head.
You in therapy? No, hairdresser.
Yeah. My wee granny took getting her hair done very, very seriously. Like,
Oh, it's a sport, man.
They did it like every Friday. It was to the hairdressers, get her wee hair done.
Washing a
In fact,
perm or washing a blow dry.
We washing a blow dry. Do you know what I mean? And my granny never swore. You wouldn't have heard my granny cursing unless she was talking about the peelers, right? Because she called them bastards. But do you know why she had that opinion too? Because she got her hair done one Friday. And she was going down to her wee club, so she had to stop off at the house and do her makeup. And she was one of them wee grannies, you know, where she had like a wee thing over her, and she had her umbrella up. And they tried to stop her on the road and ask her for her name and address and all the rest of it. And she went, never you mind. And he was going, no, you know, we need your name and address and where you're going to. And she went, it's nothing to do with you. Get out of my sight, you bastard. I've just had my hair done. Do you know what I mean? Brain my hair. That was the way she would carry on.
She was on the clock and she was going to her next bit and
Yeah.
they had stopped her.
She
And
was
then
like-
from then on, bastards a lot of them.
Bastards ruined my fucking good set. You know the way they used to get the wee sets done in their hairs? Like, just had my hair rinsed and set, and that fucker tried to ask me where I was going. Who do you think you are? In fact, do you know the way everybody's man has stories about being stopped and searched, don't they? Right? Mm-hmm. My stepdad was telling me about how whenever they were kids, teenagers, you were just fucking stopped and searched on the regular.
Yeah.
So say he lived in the middle of Andy town, and he said one night they were all going out, him and all his mates, and by the time they got down to the White Fort, they'd been stopped no less than 3 or 4 times, right? Because there was all the different checkpoints. And apparently there was a shooting just up the road, and what happened was they would sniff your hands for gunshot residue, you know, to see if they could smell gunpowder off your hands. And he said there was this sergeant, he was an absolute bastard. Everybody hated seeing him because he was a real fucking asshole, right? And he went, put your hands out. And everybody held their hands out. And he went, you go and stand over there. And then he smelt my pops' mate's hands. And he went, and he just went, bang! And fucking hit him such a slap in the side of the head. He said he heard his teeth rattle and everything.
Jesus Christ.
And he went, you dirty bastard, you've been wanking. Imagine that fucking, but he is a dirty bastard. Like, I mean,
I would also argue.
How would he know?
That's what I was going to say. Well, hey, police sergeant, why do you know what a teenage boy's jizz smells like? You
Yeah.
fucking creep.
You know what I mean? You too have had cheesy hands, or else you just know what the crack.
What's supposed to be? Wash that, will you?
I know. Do you know what? I have to say that the persiflage has become a wee bit of a problem for me recently.
There's also a fine line of it because, as we like, some of those examples we've given, some have been persiflage and some have been aggression. There's such a line.
There is a fine line. You know,
Whereas you
that
said it's like in jest, or what was the word you used? Sorry?
like contemptuous mockery.
Contemptuous mockery.
Yeah,
is a bit more of a, as opposed to
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where you're like, yeah.
Yes,
you know,
it's how it's delivered very much. Yeah.
Yeah, you're dead funny. Yeah, you're funny
Yeah.
as a burning orphanage. But see, because I'm obviously you must get this, but I think because I'm a woman, it's more obvious.
Whoa, you're a woman. Anyway, sorry.
It's believe it or not, yes, that's how I identify. I've talked today though. But do you know, whenever I'm hanging around, I'm constantly like in male company, and I am quite a bantery person anyway, and I just go with the flow. And the rule that I have is, as long as it's funny, anything goes, right?
Yeah.
Like, as long as it's fucking hilarious, say what you want.
Bronagh's all of our comedy ma.
Yeah, the comedy ma. Like,
Yeah.
I'll bring the sweets and the chocolate.
Yeah, she looks after us. Yeah.
Oh, I love you guys. I really do. But I just find that I think that some people who don't really know me that well can be a wee bit shocked if they're in, like, say, for example, the green room and we're all sitting together. Like, I kind of roll with the boy banter too because I find it funny. And then I'll catch, like, some people looking like, did she just say that? Do you know what I mean? And you want to go, persiflage!
Yeah.
You know, like...
Hey, everybody, it's not real.
It's not real, it's just
Don't
a
worry,
joke. But
yeah.
you know, like, I make wank jokes and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's bad because I know that I am vulgar. But I usually can compartmentalize where, like, I'll be able to frame it and I'll be able to do the mummy thing and do this and do that and do the other. But it's starting to bleed in a lot now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's starting to get to the stage now where it's like, I need to not make dick jokes to the children. Do you know what I mean?
I love the idea of that where you're like emceeing dinner at the house.
Yeah, like...
What do you do for a living? You don't have a job? You should fucking get one of them. You're 16.
Yeah, what did you do today? Huh? Fuck all? Did you? Yeah. But next up we have Kai. He's a funny wee fucker. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And do you know what it is? My kids are genuinely, like, really funny. But it gets... Do you know whenever your kids do stuff and... Well, you don't have kids yet, but, like... Ew, single bastard, you lucky. Not single, but...
Yeah, I just really love 3 holidays a year. But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm so jealous. I am, like...
you're dopey.
But sitting with the kids, probably shouldn't say this on this, but fuck it, here it goes. As long as it's... I'm taking photographs of the kids going to school the other morning and they were bakes tripping them,
Rite
right?
of passage.
Did not want to go. And I know most people do the whole, oh my God, I can't believe they're going back to school. I just wrote adios assholes.
That was brilliant. I saw that.
And was like,
Very
thank
good.
fuck, give them the boot, right? Because let's not pretend, right? And
Schools
but I
are
was
childcare.
taking wee photographs of them and they were starting, don't want to go to school and all this here. And I went, listen, you have to smile. Think of something funny.
Yeah.
And Kai just turned around to Cohen and was like, here, Cohen, think of something funny. And he went, can't think of something funny. And he went, think about the window cleaner that had to get his toes cut off, right?
What?
And I went, how did you even know the window cleaner did have to get his toes cut off? And he went, because I heard you talking to the other window cleaner. And I went, oh my God, our window cleaner was diabetic, God love him.
Right.
How did he get his toes cut off? Can't clean the windows anymore. The kids were like, they can't believe somebody. I was like,
Can't balance on the ladder.
So then Curtis just turned around to me and went like, this is because of you that they're like this. This is because of you. And I went, persiflage, right?
Yeah.
And it got to the stage, Curtis was like, don't you be saying that outside this house. And then I turned around and went like, well, I mean, you could say it to his face. What's he going to do? He can't chase him, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was, and Kurt was like, and I went, right, I need to start creating boundaries where I stop, like, even showing them that I find that shit funny.
Do you think it's a thing where you're going to have to do where when you go into the house, Bronagh's not doing comedy now?
Yeah.
Bronagh's mommy?
Yeah, Bronagh
And then
is.
when you leave them to go to a gig, you leave the house and you're like,
But
we're
I
in,
think
we're in
I
the mode.
do that. It's just that they're so nosy and they hear you talking about things. Do you know what I mean? And like then obviously I can't control what kind of humour they have. Like I like to think of it like whenever I crack jokes about God and all the rest of it, and I do believe in God, but I'm like, my dad would go to me, Bronagh, you can't be at that, you know, it's blasphemous or whatever. And I go, but Jesus, God made me this way.
Yeah.
Do you ever see that scene in Bruce Almighty where he's like, ha! And God goes, but I made you this way. Like, so obviously I think that's funny. Do you know what I mean? So I go, Daddy, God's cool with it. Like, he fucking loves me. He thinks I'm hilarious. Look at the humour he gave me. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, the thing of that as well is, and you're talking and Curtis is in there like that's because of you. I mean, the other thing as well is your partner's not from here, so you need to understand that. Are you even from here if you don't fuck up your kids?
exactly. Like, whenever I was
They're
pregnant,
supposed to be mental. Yeah, they're my kids.
everybody going like, what are you going to call your baby? Do you have any names picked out yet? And I was going, doesn't matter. I'm going to fucking screw them up anyway. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? You know, I love these people that are like, whenever they're pregnant and they're all, yeah, so I'm going to do it like, you know, we're going to have everything so good. We're going to do gentle parenting. I'm not going to take any gas in her, no drugs whatsoever. And I just love looking at them going,
Oh, did you?
did you? Aye, where do you see whenever you can't get them to put their fucking socks on in the
Yeah.
morning and you know what I mean? They've hid your keys in the toilet. Yeah, dead on.
There's that great progression of I've seen that where it's like, you know, like first child, second child, third child. Those cartoons where first child is a young lady standing at a sink holding the baby, and then it's like the second child and she's got the baby like on her back and one of those wee things just doing the dishes, and then the third child, which is me, he's in a wash basket that's been turned upside down so he can't escape on the kitchen floor, and I was like, that's me there.
That's it. Yeah, there's.
By
and
the
you know what?
time I showed up, my parents were so knackered chasing my two brothers.
Fewer
They
and
were like,
fewer
fucking
photographs
whatever.
as well. There's not many photographs of a third child.
Absolutely.
Definitely not. Like,
Loads of the youngest, because the boy came after me because they were like, right, that's it.
he's only a wee baby and he's
He's
our
only, yeah,
last.
that's it.
Yeah,
So loads of
yeah.
photos of him. Me and the boy in the middle, not so much.
Yeah,
But
not.
also the two at the start were quite close together. So people used to think they were twins. So there's loads of them and my
Were they
like dressing the
Irish
same.
twins?
Yeah, 17 months between them. No, less than that. 15 months or something between them. So,
Yeah.
so that whole thing. So I was like right in the middle of everything.
Right.
10 years from oldest to youngest. I'm in the middle and I'm just like, Jesus, you really didn't give a fuck about this.
You were the wee one that they went, fuck's sake, it's happened, but it's okay. And then they've had you and they've went, well, we'll have another one, just like, because
No, I'll tell you what happened.
And appreciate this.
Catholicism happened. That's what happened.
Catholicism has a lot
1
to
and
answer
2
for.
planned clearly.
Yeah.
Sorted out, newlyweds. We've
Yeah.
bought a house. We can afford this.
Yeah.
2 kids. That's manageable. 4 years later,
Yeah, Darren.
Mistake-o.
And they went, fuck's sake.
and then 5 years later, I was like, he's not supposed to be here either.
Yeah, he's not supposed to be here.
But yeah, so it's that whole idea. But I think, I mean, the idea of the persiflage that follows you through your life, where people say stuff to you,
Yeah.
and it kind of hardens you up as well.
Yeah,
Where you're just like,
definitely.
that's fine, and it is a weird thing here to. One of the hardest things when you're doing comedy, like I was on here promoting a show, I hated promoting my own show because my name was on it, and I had to say, you should come see me because I'm really good at this. I felt like a fucking idiot doing that.
No, but you have to.
I know, but it's mad.
Do you know what I have noticed though, right? I was talking about this. I think I might have said this before on the podcast, but so what? Here goes. Do you know the way like American people can be quite, not all Americans, because you can't obviously fucking, there's millions of them. But I
many, I would say.
was talking to my mate and I was like, there was this guy in this call center, right? And he was so enthusiastic. He was American and he was all like, yeah, let's get this done, man. We cooking the gas. We doing this. And I was like, why is he so like get up and go? I wish he would just get up and go. Do you know what I mean?
Was it cocaine?
And, cocaine, right? Do you know what I have for my breakfast?
Cocaine.
But my mate's husband said, do you know what my theory is as to why Americans are like that and Irish people are so not like that, the ones that live here? Because when you think about it, a lot of Americans are like English people and Irish people who got on the boats years ago.
Yes.
To go and get a better life and to make a better life for themselves, right? We're the people that stayed and went, nah, I'll just stick it out here. Do you know what I mean? So they are the people that are like, let's do this, let's go, let's get on the boat. And we're all like, oh, fucking calm yourself down, it'll be alright. Do you know what I mean?
We'll just weather the storm here for another while. It'll be shite for a couple hundred years.
Yeah.
We'll be fine.
The potatoes will come back eventually. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure, it's only a famine.
Yeah,
Terrible.
Survive this, fucking survive anything. So it's not idea, but yeah, it's obviously it's in our psyche, or the national psyche, and persiflage is such an important thing for us to basically remind somebody.
Yeah. Like you have.
It's like the tall poppy syndrome. You're just like, aye, fuck up, alright.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear about how well you're doing.
Even the way we use it, a cut down.
Yes.
Like cut down. Like we will cut you down if we think you've gotten too big for your boots. Do you know what I mean? You go, did you? Do you not remember? I used to. It's like whenever you see somebody like a kid and they're doing so well and they're like 20 odds and you go, I used to wipe shade off your arse. I've changed your nappy.
Yeah. Stuff like that. I even have a joke about that where I talk about this is the hardest place in the world to be a comedian because of persiflage. Because you talk to your friends abroad and they're like, oh, are you still doing comedy? I'm like, yeah. And then you come home and my brother's like, you still think you're funny, dickhead?
You think you're funny?
This is the idea. It's just like, this is going well. And then I like to come home to be reminded that it's not going that way.
Maybe that's why Irish people do tend to make really good comedians, because we're just used to taking that sort of shit and abuse all the time.
Oh, yeah. Water off a
daily.
duck's back. You're just like, fuck it. Somebody says something mean and you go, sure, here. I've been to school, mate. That's fine.
Dead on. This is nothing. Here. So see, I've realised that for this week, our letter of the week is P.
Oh, they're both P's, okay.
Because, PPs, right?
Yeah.
The dirty word of the week is...
Partitioning.
Partition.
No, it's not.
Partialism.
Partialism.
Actually,
Is that like a wee bit communist? It's only partialism.
I really like this one because...
How is this a dirty word? Partialism?
Exactly.
I'm partial to a bit of it. Is that like that?
A kind of...
Something from a Carry On movie?
a wee bit partial. Like I like to say I'm partial to things.
Yes.
Like I'll go, I'm partial to a wee Britvic apple, you know. Partial to a wee lemonade now and again. And it's always, you make it sound dirty almost, but really it's just like partial to a pasty supper.
Okay.
But partialism is actually a form of like paraphilia. So partialism is a broad blanket term for, I'll give you the definition. People with partialism are solely interested in the sexual gratification from specific body parts, right? So, you know the way you'll get people, obviously, like foot fetishes or...
Oh, so I'm partial to the feet. Is that what it is? Partialism is the description of the part. Or
part?
that you're going to be like...
Yeah, so the reason that I
What's your favourite part?
That's why I wanted to... Yeah, that's why I was like, you know what? That's one that everybody is kind of subject to.
So if somebody says, are you a boobs or a bum man? That's your partialism.
That's your partialism. I suppose whenever it comes to, like, if you're talking about a paraphilia, it's an abnormal sort of sexual attraction to something, like, too much. But I like the notion that partialism could be verging on the quieter side of a paraphilia. You know what I mean?
Maybe a bit more of a socially acceptable stuff.
Yeah, like, but I actually love the way in the definition, it gave you definitions of some of the areas that people with partialism can be attracted to, and one of them is the underarm.
Like the bingo wing?
Yeah, like underarm, like
Your armpit?
Yeah, like the armpit.
No, sure, forgot, I'm fine.
Underarm, feet, neck, back, pussy, and mouth. Yeah, but like back.
Your back?
Yeah, like who got my neck, my back, my anxiety attack. But
yeah, so
who looks and goes, oh, Jesus, look at the back on her.
Right, well, look, first of all, we're not kink shaming anybody.
We're not kink
shaming. This is stuff we're right.
But I want to know, like, the people out there, is there anybody out there who's, like, partial to something that they think's a wee bit bizarre?
Well, maybe it's the thing, because you hear girls saying to me, oh, I love a man with, like, nice square shoulders on him.
Or the man that has, like, you know that wee V that goes down whenever they're cut? Like, the wee V?
Oh, yeah, is it not your obliques? I know the bit you're on about, yeah.
Cum gutters?
What? We were doing so well keeping this clean and you fire that in.
I love it, that's brilliant. Yes.
Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I absolutely love it. Do you know, actually I was thinking
don't have those
about
anymore.
cum gutters. Yeah, I just call that.
I've got a cum drain pen.
I have a cum ditch.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus, that's a ditch.
Ma, if you're still watching this, turn it off now.
I know,
Actually,
please.
rewind it 5 minutes ago and then turn it off.
Yeah, just here's the wee Men in Black thing where it deletes your memory.
So partialism is the specific. Do you have a personal partialism? That's hard to say.
A personal partialism. It sounds like something. This word partialism. Let's have a little persiflage about partialism. I know that there's like. Do you remember we had the word for the people who were like, isn't it nostrophilia? People who.
Oh, nasophilia. That's what I did that one. Yeah,
That
but
was you.
the nose.
Nasophilia. Look at him remembering. Do you know what? I should do that whenever I get you back on. I'll make you repeat the words like we did. So I'm like, yeah, this is your test. What was the last word?
I'm always worried that obviously anytime anything that has the word ophelia, you're just like, oh shit, it's gonna be weird.
It's going
but
to
no,
be
partialism.
The partialism. I thought it'd go a wee bit different this week. Do you know what I mean? Do you have anything on a woman where you're like, whenever I notice this, it's like really lovely, like about with your girlfriend or whatnot, your partner, sorry.
A partialism.
Like, oh, she's, sometimes whenever she I look at her ears. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's sexy.
Some people are into like read. I'm trying to think if I've got anything like of a specific.
Tell you better still. Are you partial to any part on your body that is sort of not the norm? That's kind of like, a horny spot.
A what?
Do you not like use that like a horny spot?
Like an erogenous zone?
Yeah.
Okay, so somebody somebody kissing your neck and it.
Yeah,
okay.
the neck.
Okay, well that's one of them. The neck was given as so somebody's doing that. Maybe that's a partialism because they know that could be an erogenous zone. So just like I think that's sexy because I can use that to make them excitable.
Yeah, unless you're actually looking at someone and going, her neck, oh my god. It's
You
just
fucking
so
Dracula.
long. Stand looking at a giraffe. Do you know what I mean? Yes.
Or to go back to our persiflage, she's some neck in her. So
she has some neck on her.
but not in that way. No, I mean I don't go in for the classics. I'm not into the feet thing or like a nice neck. Is it too? It's probably too base instinct to be like bums are class.
Yeah, bums.
And so are ditties.
No, I love the fact that bums are really like in vogue. Thank God for that song, "Baby's Got Back." That like just.
Oh, that's like 1990. Such a classic.
Baby's Got Back is in like.
No, not babies. Don't be fucking weird. Baby got back. Sir Mix-a-Lot.
I like big
You said
butts and I
babies.
cannot lie.
Yeah.
You other brothers can't deny. Like that kind of brought it in. But you know the way like back in the 90s, I'm looking going, is it any wonder we all had fucking like real terrible
Body
hatred for our
dysmorphia.
bodies? Because it was like Kate Moss walking around there, fucking anorexic. You could have done xylophone on her ribs. And you're going,
Heroin
"She's
shake, that was
beautiful."
called.
Heroin shake. Oh my God, yes.
Now the thing with that is there is a very unfair thing where as fashion trends change and as trends change in body shape and body type, that whole thing where they're just like Marilyn Monroe is considered one of the most beautiful women ever, and at one point she was a size 16. So is the partialism for the curvier woman or for her curves versus today where I think so. I finished school like 20 years ago. So when I was in school, there was a girl who she would have got bullied for having a fat arse.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, see if that was today, she'd have 1 million followers on Instagram.
I know.
That's so
I know.
unfair.
It's really
she
not
had the future shape in the past.
Yes.
That's not fair.
But that's where it's just like about owning it now, isn't it?
Yeah, okay.
You're just like fucking I like big butts. I have a big butt and I cannot diet. Totally.
I think is there something nice? A partialism. I like nice hands. So there you go. There's a partialism that isn't an overtly sexual thing.
Get away.
So feet are weird, but like somebody with nice hands is nice.
Would you
Because
like
you hold
that?
hands or you would touch somebody's hands.
See, for me, it's teeth.
You're partial to it.
Good set of nicers. And it's always nice.
And yet you married a British person.
But
Famous for their teeth.
in all fairness, he is part Nigerian. So
Fair enough.
he has good.
So they have nice
fucking
teeth?
Great teeth, yeah.
There you go. Learn something new every day.
He's in
Nigerians,
his
lovely
30s.
teeth.
He's in his 30s and he doesn't have one filling. Right? Do you not have a filling?
No
either?
fillings.
Get away. No way.
No.
Oh my God.
I was at the dentist recently and they said I'm doing very well because most people by now just don't have a fucking tooth in their
I
head.
have more delf in my mouth than my granny's fucking cabinet, so it's desperate. Every time I fucking eat a piece of chewing gum, something falls out.
No, cultures you will be made fun of for drinking all that milk, but keep doing it. It's working for you.
Oh, yeah, it's either that or the fluoride and the toilet water that you just drink.
Alright, hang on a second.
I'm only slagging you.
Don't drink it.
But here, tell me. Oh, yeah, do you know what I like? Yeah, good set of. Well, when you think about it, when you go with someone, what's the first thing you do is you kiss them.
That makes sense.
So if you see someone, their mouth's rotten, you just go,
Aye.
give it a miss. You know?
Well, that would be a thing if so like teeth in the mouth is your thing. Then have you ever gone out with anybody who like smoked?
Yeah, because I used to smoke.
Ah, stinking.
Ming ding-a-linging. See, now when you think about it, like, smoking's just so fucking, like, no, you don't. Like,
You vape.
I know I vape, but
Get off your fucking high horse.
Honestly.
Your strawberry flavoured high horse.
In all fairness, it is fucking mango, okay?
Sorry.
And I vape because I used to smoke. But do you ever see people fucking vape now and they've never even smoked? Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. But anyways,
Bronagh partialism is an oral fixation.
I do have an oral fixation. Anyways, do you have anything that you want to promote? Anything you're doing coming up?
My usual stuff. Just if you want to come see me, I host the Sunflower Comedy Club last Sunday of every month.
Sunflower Comedy Club. Make sure you book your tickets because it does sell out.
Every fucking month, and then I get messages.
And then
2
he
days
gets
before.
messages that's like, can we get in? Just make sure you book your tickets early because it's a brilliant venue.
Yes.
You get so much value for money because you get really fucking good lineups of comedians.
10 comedians, 10 minutes each, 10 are in.
I mean, bargain.
Marketing.
Fucking bargain.
Yeah.
And you can call yourself cultured. You can say, oh, I go and see comedy. I do go
Yes.
to comedy nights. See all these people that say, oh, I have these opinions on comedians. And you go, who was the last person you seen? And they go, never been to a comedy show. Do you know what I mean?
So that, and then the opposite of that, not the opposite of it, but the different thing. So that's if you're in Belfast City. If you're from down the country like myself, you can go to the Panic Station Comedy Club in Newry, which is a totally different vibe, which is great. It's a pro room. Bring your own. It's in my mate Leanne's cafe. It's very cool.
McCooey's Cafe, which actually does an absolutely banging breakfast if you're ever into that, doesn't
Yes,
it?
the breakfast wrap is my job. Like.
Oh, yeah. And McCooey is an absolute legend. Shout out to Leanne. Fucking love that woman. But if you can ever get down to that, do make sure you get your tickets for that too, because that always sells out.
This is good.
In fact, I love doing that. I love doing McCooey's. I need to get on in there again soon and that's in Newry. That's in Newry.
Steady on. Anyway.
Steady on, yeah.
So yeah, no, that's all I'm promoting at present. And then what's going on? Oh yeah, I did a gig last night, like a charity show in this thing, which is the Laugh Chapel. So that is going to be on in Voodoo, I think monthly on a Thursday. Next one's the 5th of October, I think. Go check that out. New comedy club starting off. You get yourself on it because I think it would totally suit your.
That's hosted by Bronagh. We had Bronagh
Who was
on
on
as well.
here somewhere. Your name's here somewhere.
And thank you so much. I've absolutely loved having you on. Please give us a wee like, share, follow, and tell your granny was asking about her. Cheers. Do you want to sign the wall?
Yes.
Yes,
Ask me
at
a sharpie.
last. All in all, you're just another name on the wall. Dun, 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 dun.
This is like the podcast version of a notch in your belt.
Aye, it fucking is.
Get that no all the fuck.
Give us, do, I don't know. Do a big one. Because Darren Matthews apparently has a big, massive
hair
willy.
stuff.
Darren Massive.
Hit you in the face.
He's got a big peeny weenie. So he does. I wouldn't know, his partner told me.
Who, McCooey? There you go. There's a 90s joke.
Yeah!